Yeah, isn't it strange that a lot of the foreign aid goes to certain foundations like Open Societies Foundation that also then funds these anti-farming groups, that certain of their members, of course, are beneficiaries from the Stopping Farming because they have alternative products that they want to launch on the market.
Seeing what's been happening in the Netherlands,
yes.
They're grabbing the land, farmers are still fighting back. But it's not just there, it's also, there are different problems here, but I think it's going to get there here as well.
Currently we have an unelected, imposed Prime Minister who sailed in on the back of a coup d'etat that I don't believe represents this country.
In the second episode of our farming tour, we've come to a family farm near Salisbury, where we meet with Claire and Tim to discuss the dangers of net zero and the people behind it.
700 acres, 520 of arable crops consisting of malting barley, winter barley, oilseed rape and winter wheat. And approximately 150 to 200 acres of grass, some maize behind us for the animals, based around Colwyn Kingston, which is north-east of Salisbury Plain. We're right on the edge of Salisbury Plain.
Well, I mean, we are going around the country, and there's a lot of obviously smaller farms and bigger farms. I think there's a misperception around the country where people assume, oh, so you've got a relatively large farm and land, so you guys are fine. Smaller farms are dying. Is that the reality, or regardless of size?
I guess size does help, but the reality is the problems are just bigger. And there's just two of us employed here now, so there's me as the boss and Arthur around the corner working. So the challenges are the same, they're just on a bigger scale.
What are you guys, what are the kind of problems, generally speaking, obviously?
The cost of production, fuel, fertiliser, machinery costs have absolutely spiralled in the last couple of years, so any replacement costs have absolutely exploded. With less of us, we are very reliant on the machinery.
Right.
So the machinery has got to be within reason, relatively well up together, because there aren't enough of us if we do get a lot of problems. Really energy, fuel costs. I think a lot of the costs that a lot of people are facing, but cost of production, fertiliser there, for example, last year was, well, it's come back now, but it was nearly 2.5 times dearer than the year before, well over double the price of the year before. It's come back to now about half.
You were actually mentioning before we started, even locally there are movements. I didn't know there's such thing as Just Stop Farming, which is linked to Just Stop Oil or something?
Apparently so, there are several anti-farming, I would call them militant organisations, for want of a better phrase.
Or eco-militants?
Eco-militants, anti-farming militants. One of our neighbours had drones being flown around their dairy, police informed. It's very, very difficult where you're not only having to navigate through the red tape of governmental process, but you have NGO-sponsored militant organisations that have, without a doubt, received some form of military training as agitators.
It reminds us of recently we've discovered the net zero activists and movements behind it. Even on a domestic level, we've found links between them and the Labour Party. On an international level, the people who fund them fund Greta Thunberg, and they fund certain governments like Justin Trudeau. So it seems like it's a very weird coincidence that they're all behind the same agenda.
Isn't it strange that a lot of the foreign aid goes to certain foundations like Open Societies Foundation that also then funds these anti-farming groups, that certain of their members, of course, are beneficiaries from the Stopping Farming because they have alternative products that they want to launch on the market.
It's insane. I mean, we've seen what's been happening in the Netherlands. They're grabbing the land, farmers are still fighting back. But it's not just there, it's also, there are different problems here, but I think it's going to get there here as well.
Yes, they're militating towards it very, very gradually. It's the old adage, if you take a dog and you chain it to a pole on a long chain, the dog will tolerate it. If you remove a link every day and the chain gets shorter and shorter and shorter, eventually the dog can't move, but it will still tolerate it. what they're doing is removing every avenue for farming. So we'll only just do this, we'll only just do that. We'll just take away that, we'll just regulate
You
this.
could have your farm, but turn it into a solar farm, for example.
Yes.
Don't have cows.
Yes, we'll call it a farm, but you're not allowed to do any farming at all, and food is a definite no-no. It's to destroy agriculture completely. If you destroy agriculture and you control the food supply chain,
you can control people.
You control the population. Pure and simple, it's control.
Yeah, and do you think it's also linked to the other ideas they have, whether it's universal basic income, so that you don't even have to work, you could just make money, but then you'll be dependent on the government.
Yes, you're looking, I think, ultimately, and this is a stated WEF objective, of a drone populace that is medicated, paid for, and allowed to do whatever it's dictated you can do.
Yes.
So no farmers, no food, no food, no freedom. It's really quite simple. So the two most frightening phrases, I think, in the world are it's for your safety and the government's here to help you.
Yes, I'm here from the government, I'm here to
help you.
But that's the thing, so do you think, as you already said, but kind of to confirm this theory, which is clearly true, is that they are going after a lot of people who have what we will call the Western conservative values. So self-determination, family values, hard work.
Absolutely.
And one of the main areas that's still left, one of the few areas that's still left that has that culture is the farming community.
Absolutely.
They have the family values, the local community spirits, and so by crushing that, then just like everybody else in London, who's becoming like robots, everybody is basically becoming like a part of the machine. We're all, when I leave my house in central London, everything's already planned. I leave, Starbucks is there, you get the tube, you tap in your phone, everything is basically like a routine. Whereas this area, this world is basically such a different world, is the one area that's kind of unchanged for now. So
it's systematized. Life is no longer life. We used to work to live.
Yes.
Yes. Now we're living to work.
Yes.
And that change has happened so subtly that people haven't noticed.
Yeah.
The thing being, if you're a farmer, and this is a family farm, it's been in the family Tim's family for over 100 years, it is a lifestyle choice. It's beyond that. You are a steward of the land.
Yeah, it's part of your blood. Yeah.
We go through, and Tim won't have covered this with you, there are so many, the sort of association, they come out and check the soil. You have various audit checks every year for the animals, animal safety, animal welfare, health of the farm, of the environment. We then have our stewardship checks. We are custodians of this land, to pass this land on to the next generation. This land has fed people in Wiltshire for tens of thousands of years. It's the oldest agricultural area in England.
And soon that could come to an end.
And soon, because of red tape and a government, gone.
Yeah. To be fair, and not to be blind faith optimistic that we've won the war, but the backlash that's recently started, we've seen like a tiny bit of victories like here and there when it comes to net zero. Not to say that, hey, that's it, the government have now changed their mind, but this could be a good sign that if there's a bigger backlash, there could be potentially a bigger victory in the future. And then we've seen, the Just Stop Oil activists, the more they attacked, then the more actually put pressure on people, to put pressure on Rishi Sunak's government, to even if it's gimmicky for the election, he's decided to be like, okay, let's make a U-turn on this, let's have some oil and gas. Even though he might not be genuine about it, but he's been forced to actually still do oil and gas. So can we use similar tactics on a bigger scale long term?
I think the one thing that governments rely on, and again we have to look at it, we have a uni-party in the UK, as they do in the US. One wears a red rosette, one wears a blue rosette.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which one you vote for. It's the same old, same old. It's just that we are essentially tribalism. People, if we changed the election and said vote against the people that you really dislike, I think that would be quite fun. And it would be a remarkable result. So the issue is twofold. They have time. We don't. They are legislative. We are not. We're responsive. So you have a number of things. The most abstract people will say revolution. Well, no one wants a revolution. It has uncertain outcomes and people get hurt. They double down, we double down. Currently we have an unelected, imposed Prime Minister who sailed in on the back of a coup d'etat that I don't believe represents this country.
Yes, yeah.
He represents foreign entities.
Yeah. Well, just basically the globalist agenda.
The globalist agenda, whomever one might see behind that. Those are the entities that he represents. Our government hasn't represented British citizens for a very, very long time, whatever flavour of government has sat in number 10 for a long time.
I would say probably 80s onwards, but after the 80s they
Yeah, probably 87 plus.
Yeah. Any message of motivation? How do we get, obviously our followers who are watching this, but also others who will be finding this video, what can people do to actually get others to wake up?
To get others to wake up, look outside your window. The most honest thing I can say to you is we never know what day we're going to get in farming. We look out of our window one day, the sun shines. If you came on the farm that day, you think, oh, this is paradise, it's wonderful. The next day, it's raining stair rods and you're up on a ladder clearing gutters out because you don't want your cattle getting wet. You never know what day it's going to be. You have to maximise whatever you can do the most on that day. So we can't combine at the moment because A, the wheat isn't fit, and B, it's too wet because of all the rain. So you do other things, you adjust.
Yeah.
They're always adjusting to us to push their message through that has been crafted over decades.
Yeah.
We have to push back. When they double down, we double down.
Is there any way for, obviously long term, for governments to make things easier, so to make the producers cheaper here, so that people are not forced to get, again, like lamb from New Zealand or whatever?
Well, I think the problem is here, producing it to a certain standard, there is a cost to this, and it isn't cheap. I think we should be producing more food here, and there is the potential to do that. There is plenty of land here to do it.
So what do we have here?
We've got a couple of grain traders here. I mean, for example, the one there, the yellow one, would have been probably 22 or 3,000 pound, probably say 2.5 years ago. Probably now, if I went to a dealer, and we've got a set of sides that go on the top for silage, so it's a dual. It's not just sat here for grain only. It does everything. The reality is that trailer now would probably be 28, 29,000 in 2 years.
Wow. We were trying to explore in this series is lack of appreciation in the country. I mean, this is about the culture that, people don't. We become more metropolitan. A lot of cities are growing, and there's a massive disconnect between the cities and obviously the rural areas. How do we champion British farming?
Well, I think the problem is none of us, or a very large percentage of us here, don't really know what it's like to be hungry. Go to Tesco's, the food is on the shelf, it's there. So you load up your trolley. A lot of people probably moan about the cost at the moment, but it's always there. So we've never been hungry. So I think at times food is taken as a bit of a, without sounding arrogant, as a bit of a gimme. Oh, food's there, bang.
Yes, you take it for granted. Yeah.
And I think also then you could possibly say there's an element of people's priorities have changed. They still want new gadgets at home and all of that, and the percentage of spend on food has gone, of the income has possibly gone down. At the moment, it's coming up. Yeah. But food's been very readily available, and I think an element of people have just, it's always there.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, so far what I've noticed actually during this farming tour that we're doing around the country is I don't really want to go back to London. This is absolutely beautiful. But we've already discussed so many issues from net zero to globalism and everything else. But it continues. The tour will continue. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. the next episode is going to be focusing on the ULEZ expansion and the government interventions. We're going to go into deep Essex to focus on those problems. I want to say massive thank you to everybody who's been hosting us so far, and a big thank you to Tousi Tour's producer, Lacey Butcher, as well. Lacey, what are your thoughts? She's been making friends with cows and animals and everything.
More so than you. They don't seem to have a likeness to you.
No, I wonder why.
No, it's been good fun. Reminds me of home, back in Dorset.
What's that? Loving the outfit.
Yeah, I've probably got into it. I'm really looking forward to it all.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, tomorrow at 6 p.m. the next episode, we're going to go on our way, continue the tour, and I might not never go back to London. You never know.